Hello, all my sinners and saints out there, my demons and demigods. Hello, all my sinners and saints out there, my demons and demigods. Welcome to the Jesus Podcast. My name is Jesus. You can call me Jesus. I am not the Son of God, but the Son of Clyde, in case anybody's wondering. Well, I bet you're all wondering, and I have the answers for you. What's heaven and hell like? Well, you would think that every evil person who ever lived never gets to see heaven, but you'd be wrong. You'd be completely wrong. They get to see heaven all the time. You're like, oh, why would an evil person want to go to heaven? I'll tell you, they don't want to go to heaven. They fear going to heaven. Because when an evil person gets into heaven, they're not getting into heaven for it to be peaceful and fun. No, in heaven, that is really part of their hell. Because when they get sent up to heaven from, we're just going to call it the abyss, because there's no real word that can describe where they stay or where they live, where they exist. It's just a black hole of your worst fears and nightmares. That's the best way I can describe it to you. But no, they get to go to heaven, and when they're in heaven, part of the entertainment of heaven is getting to torture and maim, destroy the most evil people in the world. And you're saying to yourself, how does that happen in heaven? Well, one of the fun things that you get to do in heaven is you get to call up the most evil people in the world and, have your, live out any sadistic fantasy you've ever had. Now, not everybody does it. A lot of people think it's wrong. A lot of people say, oh, that's terrible. But there are some people, a lot of people, and after millennia, let's just say there's a never-ending number of people willing to, fulfill this task. I mean, let's face it, heaven is a place where you have everything you've ever wanted and needed, and the love of God. And, God recognizes that some of us are real sadistic motherfuckers and would like nothing more than to, torture somebody like Pol Pot for like a day. I've seen that happen on several occasions. And if you've never seen a person's skin pulled back on their finger, starting from their fingernails, you don't want to see what someone who has really dark ideas, but kept them under control while they were in the mortal world. It's amazing what those people can do or think of to cause pain in someone. And the thing is, you don't feel guilty about it. You're encouraged to. It's so a lot of terrible, sadistic, disgusting, horrible things happen to evil people in heaven. You're probably saying to yourself, well, if that's what what happens in hell, if that's going on in heaven, what happens in hell? You have the wrong idea of hell. Hell it's not torturous, like you would want it to believe. The best way I can describe hell to anyone would be like Imagine you're living in Miami Beach and it's noon on the hottest, most humid day in August, and there's no air conditioning, there's no shade. Um, uh, there's no cool anything. It's just hot, humid, sticky. Ugh, it's disgusting. Sure, you can eat. Sure, you could party. Plenty of parties in hell. A lot of parties in hell. But you know why you're stuck in hell? Because you get to look up into heaven and what people are doing, and heaven is beautiful. Heaven is gorgeous. But can you imagine if you're in hell and there's no ice cream? No, everything warm beer. Warm beer for days. It's terrible. There's no cold champagne, flat champagne, overcooked food, undercooked food. It's disgusting. It's like living in Miami Beach on a daily basis with having no relief from anything. It's torturous. It's terrible. There's no air conditioning. There's no breeze. It's just this hot, slow-moving, stagnant air. And that's what heaven's like. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, what's so terrible on heaven? Have you ever been to Miami Beach in the middle of August on noon on a daily basis? Do you know how hard it is to sleep? You know how hard it is to walk around? You know how miserable you are after being there day after day, week after week, year after year, millennia after millennia. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, because it's not and you never get used to it, because you can't. You just can't get used to hot, sticky, muggy weather, And the heat, the heat, it's like you're in an oven all the time, you know. Like, when they wrote about the Bible and the lake of fire, they're talking about the water. Like, you don't get relief from the beach. There is a beach there. That's why I'd say the closest thing you can is Miami Beach. There's millions of infinite miles of beautiful coastline of, hot water, and so yeah, that's what heaven and people aren't down in hell are envious because they don't get to torture people like Hitler. They don't get to, torture people like Genghis Khan or any of those things. And believe me, it could be fun because you have exact knowledge. You have exact knowledge of all the things that these people did and all the atrocities they have. Not just the ones that we read about or were fictionalized, but the ones that were actually in their head while they were doing it, what they were thinking. And if you knew what some of these people were thinking, like, we think we can understand what evil thinks like, but you can't. You can't. Imagine, feeling justified for rape, feeling justified for experimentation on humans, feeling justified to, any number of things, being happy and proud to do it, and just realizing that it's going to be a good time. You're going to really enjoy yourself as you do anything you possibly can to make these people feel miserable for all the things that they've done. And there's air conditioning, bingo night. Catholics got that right. There's bingo night, but it's only one day a week. But let me tell you, those people do get crazy. You think the little old ladies with all... Trust me. Well, that's it. That's it for the Jesus Podcast show today. if I can part along any wisdom, is like you need to fail. You need to fail often because nobody succeeds without failure. Cheers.